Welcome to 100 Yards of Football. It's our Dallas Cowboys Dallas weekly video this week as the Cowboys take on the San Francisco 49ers. If you like the video today, please comment and share it. I'm your host, Vincent Turner. And joining me, he's been gone for 2 weeks, and the audience out there at 100 Yards of Football has missed him greatly. His knowledge and experience, because he played 12 years in the National Football League with the Atlanta Falcons. So let me give his proper introduction this morning. My man, two-time All-American out of Florida State University, played 12 wonderful years in the National Football League with the Atlanta Falcons. First-round draft choice, as he always tell me, the best draft ever in NFL draft history, the 1981 draft. And he's out of Delray Beach, Florida. My man, Bobby Butler. So if you like the video today, please comment and share it. So, Brother Butler, the Dallas Cowboys had a big win over the Cincinnati Bengals last Sunday, 30-7. Now they take on the San Francisco 49ers. What more can you say about the Cowboys win over the Bengals last week?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I liked it. Let me tell you what I liked about it most of all, Vincent. The fact that was a game that they were supposed to win. And they won it. So they took care of their business, right? Now,
Yes, sir.
we know the Bengals are not, they're not doing real well this year. But like I said, it's a game that you're supposed to win. Cowboys have been up and down. We know that. We know the horrendous injuries and everything that they've had this year. But at the end of the day, Vincent, it's still football, right? We still got to move on. We still got to play. We don't want to make excuses. So it's like, somebody go down, who's up next? We got to go play. No excuses, right? So just recapping the game, the Bengals, you think about their first 3 drives in the game, they fumbled the ball on their first 3 drives. One of those fumbles cost them a 78-yard touchdown by Alden Smith, right? So leading to 17 points in the first half by the Cowboys on those fumbles, right? So Andy Dalton, played, he played fair in my opinion. I know he's glad he won that game. He went back and beat the Bengals at Cincinnati, but he completed 16 of 23 passes for 185 yards and 2 TDs. The two TDs, you give a check mark, but those are not great numbers. It's not like he just, had a Broadway Joe kind of like Sunday, but he won the game. And so the Cowboys still, man, with all that's going on, still are in contention mathematically to make the playoffs, man. But I'm gonna say this, Vincent. I'm a Cowboy fan too. You've been a Cowboy fan since the '60s. I've been a Cowboy fan, since in the '60s. I'll never forget the ice game up in Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
They lost that game on the quarterback sneak by Bart Starr. I left the house mad and enraged, crying like a baby because they lost that game. And so we want to see them do well. But I got to speak the truth. I think Washington is playing with a new zeal. I don't see anybody winning this division but Washington right now, to be honest with you. Unless Alex Smith is not in the lineup for whatever reason. He got a little hurt last week. But we're gonna see how that plays out, right? But I think it's Washington's division to lose right now. The way it looked, we just got a few weeks left. We got 3 Sundays left, 3 games left, and so we're gonna see how it play out. Now, the interesting thing is in the division, who's playing who, right? So let's talk. Let's just recap the stats from this past week because I want you to know that even though they won 30-7. It wasn't a wow kind of a game, right, for them. Zeke only had 48 yards rushing on 12 attempts. Pollard only had 39 yards rushing on 11 carries, right? Receiving, Amari Cooper had 4 catches for 51 yards. CeeDee Lamb had 2 catches for 46 yards. Dalton Schultz had 3 catches. Michael Gallup had 2, and Tony Pollard only had 2 catches. So it wasn't anybody that never wowed anybody. If any wow factor in the game was the fact that the Cowboys had turnovers on defense, right? So moving forward to this game this week, this team here was runner-up last year, the 49ers, man, they were runners up last year, right? And just like we said before the season, how hard it was going to be for them to get back. Well, they're not back. They're a long way from being back. Now, but here's the question, right? I think they won like what, 4 games this year, something like that. No, they won more than that. But the 49ers have won 4 out of the last 6 games on the road. They've only won 1 home game. So they've only won like 5 games this year. You know, they seem to be more comfortable on the road. I can get that. The fans probably at home probably kind of sick of the 49ers not being the team they were last year. So, you know, they're a little bit more comfortable playing on the road, right? Now, from an offensive point, the 49ers and the Cowboys, these 2 teams, Vincent, are about even from an offensive perspective. When you start looking at points per game, the 49ers average 23.1. The Cowboys average 22.9. They're right there. Passing yards per game, the 49ers are averaging 272.8 yards a game. The Cowboys are averaging 282.2 a game, right? They're right there. Yards, rushing yards per game. And they both of these teams, to be effective, got to rush the football. When they're at their best, both teams are rushing the football. 49ers are rushing 109.7 yards a game. The Cowboys are rushing 110.9 yards per game, right? So they're neck and neck from an offensive standpoint. But where they separate is on defense. And so from a defensive standpoint, I got to get a 49ers the edge, Vincent, because points allowed per game, the 49ers are averaging 23.9. They're allowing a game, but the Cowboys are allowing 30.8 a game. That's a whole touchdown. That's a whole 7 points right there, right? Total yards allowed per game, the 49ers are giving up 327.1. The Cowboys are giving up 388.1 yards average per game. Passing yards allowed, the 49ers are allowing 221.3 yards a game. The Cowboys are giving up 225.4 yards a game. Come right there. Rushing yards allowed, and this is where it really separates. The 49ers are giving up 105.8 yards a game, and the Cowboys are giving up 162.7 yards per game. Now, when you look at those numbers, Vincent, I come up with one conclusion, that the 49ers will win this game 31-24. I think it'll be a 7-point win because they're right there. And I just think, that's what's going to happen. It's going to be a tough game for the Cowboys.
If you liked the video today, please come in and share it. Well, my recap from last Sunday, I'm going to start off with, it's great to be a Cowboy. Cowboy Nation rise to the top last year. What I saw a football team that played hard for 60 minutes. 3 things. The hustle was off the charts. The effort was at another level. And the playmaking ability was there as a complete football team. You got to give the coaching staff finally an A+. Game balls. Game balls. Now, Brother Butler, you said Andy Dalton didn't really do anything. But to me, he was a tremendous game manager last Sunday. 16 of 23, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns. But what I liked about him, he completed passes to 7 different receivers. Oh, my God. I'm getting ready to go to work this morning, but I'm ridden with proudness this morning because the young man that bags up Ezekiel Elliott out of the 901, listen to me, Orange Mound, Melrose High School, by the University of Memphis, Tony Pollard played real well and had a key 60-yard return in the game. Go on the defensive side of the ball. Can I get an amen? Alton Smith has played well all season long.
Yes,
came up huge with a 75-yard fumble recovery.
Yes.
The young man out of Boise State. I'm a Cowboys fan. I don't mean to rip him this morning, but he finally earned his money. Thank you, Mr. Tyrone Crawford. 2 sacks in the game. 2 sacks in the game. Can I get another amen?
Amen. Amen.
And then most of all, you should know this, Brother Butler. Your great Nixon's at Florida State. You turned around Florida State and gave them the nickname Florida State DBU. Well, on last Sunday against the Cincinnati Bengals, Rashad Robinson, Deontay Burton, Chris Westy, and Jordan Lewis. Finally, the Cowboys secondary played well for the first time all year long. And you know what happens when all that happens? It's a big W, and Cowboy Nation start rising. And we feel good going on to the next week. And what I think, and what I really is proud of, I know Mike McCartney hadn't lost it as a coach. But when you look back on the season, the pandemic, you lost your star quarterback. You lost 4 offensive linemen. You lost your best defensive player who seemed like he's not going to return in Trevon Diggs. You got to give Mike McCartney a little rope and a little respect.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So moving on, they got the 49ers. It's similar, as you said, Brother Butler, same situation. They lost Jimmy Garoppolo. They lost Nick Bosa to start the season. So this is a team that's coming in with a similar fate as what's happened to them this season. But when it's all said and done, I think the biggest key to the football game coming up on Sunday, who can run the football. Because when you look at it overall, that's the team's both strengths. I don't care about Dak Prescott passing for 400 yards when he was in at the start of the season and the previous seasons. I keep saying, for this Cowboys team, and over the last few years, their success has lied in their offensive line and the young man from the Ohio State, Ezekiel Elliott. So on Sunday, it's going to be which team can able to run the football, and they're going to win the game.
That's right.
Me being this Cowboys fan, and we've been doing this video for the Dallas Weekly all season long, of course, I'm taking the Cowboys in a close one, 27-24. Brother Butler, final words today here on the Dallas Cowboys weekly video with the Dallas Weekly.
Well, Vincent, you hit it right on the head. Whoever win the rushing game going to win the game, right? You know, neither quarterback is going to wow you, right? You just hope that they can maintain and manage. However, you always look at them toys that the Cowboys got, man. And it's so hard to not look at them because they're so beautiful, it's so bright. and you got to expect, Vincent, one of these Sundays that them Cowboys, them racehorses, they're gonna run hard, right? And so they are playing at home, and it's gonna be interesting. But from a statistics standpoint, it's gonna be a close game. I still at the 49ers by 7 points in this game. I hope I'm wrong, right? I'm just looking at it from a statistical standpoint, not from a heart standpoint, because you get out there in between them hashes, bro. You get out there between them hashes, Mr. Turner, and is what's going to be in the heart and how much effort and how they play and what they give in the game. That's what really going to make a difference. So I can't wait to see it. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be an interesting game. Both teams are down due to a lot of injuries. They're star players. And so we're going to see who's going to come up with enough mustard to get it done this Sunday.
My final words, I'm going to piggyback off what you just said, Brother Butler, about the Washington Redskins. They're playing outstanding football. I don't mean to be giving them kudos this morning because we are here doing a Dallas Cowboys weekly video here on the Dallas Weekly, but you got to tell the truth. The Washington Redskins are going to probably be the team that's going to win the NFC East. My heart and soul and go off and respect to Ron Rivera. He's done an outstanding job. Yes, Alex Smith has played well over the last few weeks. And most of all, I think Washington has two of the most exciting young players that's played on a high level this year in the National Football League. One, Chase Young, is everything we said he was going to be coming out of Ohio State. Over the last I would say probably over the last month, I don't know if there's been any defensive player that's played on another level.
That's right.
Look what he did against Trent Williams last week against the 49ers.
Right.
And of course, I got to pump my chest again. The young man from Eagles Landing Christian out of Stockbridge, Georgia.
That's right.
Went to the University of Memphis. My man, Antonio Gibson, in my opinion, should get a lot of votes for Rookie of the Year. And you know what? He played wide receiver at the University of Memphis during his career and came into the National Football League and started as a running back, and you see what he's done.
Absolutely.
But all this saying, the thing I was most proud of last week that I've been looking for with the Dallas Cowboys, hustle, effort, and playmaking. A complete 60-minute effort.
The X factor.
So that being said, the Dallas Cowboys, you're going in the right direction. The season's not over. You might not make the playoffs. But one thing, and however, you're in that top 5 in the 2020 NFL draft. And there's a lot of good players. So Dak Prescott, I know everybody loving about that. But there is a young man that's at the Ohio State Buckeyes that calls Ezekiel Elliott every week by the name of Justin Fields. I think, Brother Butler, you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
There's another young man that's down at the University of Alabama. His father played in the league named Patrick Surtain Jr.
That's right.
So, hey, being a Cowboys fan, I'm going to be one to the day I die. So I'm joyful because of the effort they had last week. We finally look like a football team. So if you like the video today, please come in and share it. We are 100 Yards Football here on the Dallas Weekly. And as I always say, I'll go by the great poet, Motown. His name was Marvin Gaye. This Sunday before Christmas, all your Cowboy fans, let's get it on!